Rough day, Grayson. Hard life, ain't it? This is Jason with the Old Mill Shed. Today, we're going to be putting a fuel pump on my son's 2000 S10. It's got the 4.3 liter V6. I believe it's a ZR2, even though it doesn't have the decals on the back there. If you look under the hood on the firewall, it's got the ZR2 tag on it, so ZR2 may not be a ZR2, not really sure, but it should be the same for all S10s. So normally when I do these fuel pumps on these trucks, I'll just drop the fuel tank, which is located right there. But on these S10s, let me get my finger out of the way. On these S10s, it's not a lot of fun. The big old trucks like mine, I'll normally drop the fuel tank, but these little things here, it is just as easy to lift the bed off. So we're back under here behind the rear end. And the first thing we want to do is we want to unhook everything that's attached to the bed, so when we lift it off, we don't rip any of our wires out. So we have a connector, two connectors, right here and right here. So we'll undo those, and then we will undo the license plate lights, and then we have another connector back here over on the passenger side. I want to get all that unhooked, and then I want to get a socket and extension to fit that bolt. I think it's a 17, but we'll verify. And when I get all of that done, I'll be right back. Alright, so you got everything unhooked here. And what I did with the license plate lights, I just took them out of their socket and tucked them up. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming if you ever wanted to hook up electric brake or a 7-pin, I'm assuming what that's for. Some of y'all that know more about these S10s can chime in. So here is the plug that was attached to the chassis right here, as well as with the ground wire was attached to that. Takes a 13 millimeter socket. There is another one over on this side, and that attaches to the same bolt that ground wire does. And then here is the other part of the connector that attaches right there. So I just took these off and stuck these back up there. Now, one other thing that you need, take that out. You want to slide that forward to disconnect it from the bed. Alright, so guys, I got these bolts out. It's a 15 millimeter socket. I can't remember if I mentioned that earlier or not. Here's a bolt. You got 4 of them like this. And you want to go up through this hole to get there, and that hole to get up to the one above it. Now, one thing, I started out using a 1-foot extension, and that worked fine for here. But when you try to get up through here, your ratchet will hit the leaf spring coming back out. So I made an extension using a 3-inch and a 6-inch extension to give me enough clearance. And it's the same thing on this side. You have a bolt right there and a bolt right there, and they are the same size and length as the two on the other side. Now we'll go up to the front of the bed and get the 4 off that's up there. Okay guys, so here are the location of the front bolts, and it's the same back on the other side over there. This is on the passenger side. So if you look at your rear cab mount, you come up, there's the front bolt, and there's the second bolt up front. And then, like I said, it's the same on both sides. They're very easy to get to. They're actually on the outside of the frame rail, so you don't have to worry about interference with the gas tank or any wires going back to the back or anything. Okay guys, so now we have the gas cap with a filler neck taken loose. There is a bolt here at about 11 o'clock, another one at about 2 o'clock, and then there's a little plastic pop rivet thingy down here at 6 o'clock. Let me get these for you. Here are the bolts that go in here and here, and this is the little plastic piece that goes in right there. Now another thing about these S10s, let me climb underneath it and I'll show you, is how they're grounded. Most of the time when you take a filler neck loose off of a pickup truck, at least in my experience, you'll have a grounding strap that runs from the filler neck up somewhere on the bed. Typically to like one of the crossbars or something. On these S10s, however, your grounding strap, which is right here, actually is connected to the frame rail, not up to the bed itself. So you don't have to worry about pulling that loose before you lift the bed. Alright, so at this point, I'm ready to take the truck and put it underneath the little shed out there. I'm back in and out of the way. I've got 2 chain falls out there. And what I do is I have a bar that goes across up here and a bar that goes across back here. It hooks in. And this bed's not that heavy, 400 pounds maybe at the most. And we'll lift this thing off. The reason I use 2 chain falls is I can control the front and the rear independently. It makes it a lot easier to do with one person. Okay guys, so we've got the bed off back down here in front of the little shed. Here's your fuel pump assembly. Here's your fuel tank pressure switch. Here's your return line. I forgot which one of these 2 lines does the other 2 functions. And here is your connector. We already have the negative terminal disconnected from the battery. All in all, this truck doesn't look too bad. Does have some surface rust on this chassis. It might be a future video when we clean that up and put a fresh coat of paint on it, but we don't have time for that today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to unhook these lines, unhook these connectors, and finish cleaning up around here and get that pulled out. All you do is work that snap ring out. Just go around. Work it out from the hold downs all the way around. So after you get the snap ring out, you have to prise around it a little bit. Number for this truck, if you go to Napa, is C0353M. It is the entire assembly. Okay, so here we have both the pumps out. You'll notice some minor differences between the 2. It's nothing that is super different, but you will notice that this one has the screen coming out from it, where this is the one that's got the screen molded into the cup itself. I like this style better. I have had these drop off in the tank before and then you not have any kind of screen whatsoever. So, you know, just minor little differences, but it all works. Now, I did notice too that these little keepers right here did not come with the new pump. So I'll have to take these off and put on here. If I'd have known that, I'd have gotten new ones, but it's too late in the day now. And we need this truck running, so I'll just take a small screwdriver, gently get those off and put those on the new pump. Okay, so before you put a new fuel pump in, you want to put a new seal in every time, even if one doesn't come with your kit. Okay, so I've got the snap ring back in, and to do it, you really just have to put this in here, prise down, and then work that snap ring in, just go around. I didn't record that because, honestly, sometimes kids that I know watch my videos, and well, what was being said, they don't need to hear. So there you have it. But yeah, just when you're putting this in, just twist this down and press this down, pull up on this, and work that ring in all the way around, and it'll eventually seal. It's tedious, but take your time. Make sure you get it in there good and tight, because that O-ring in there, what that does is keep any water or dirt from getting into your tank. When I was hooking everything back up, I realized that this is the connector that came on the here it is, the connector that came with the truck from the factory, and this is the connector that they sent with the new fuel pump. Now, you've got a larger diameter black wire, a small diameter black wire here and here, and then you have a gray wire and a purple wire that matches up with the old connector. And now they do give you some crimp connectors and some heat shrink tubing. Now, I would not use flame to connect that to shrink that tubing. We're going to use a heat gun. But all you got to do is just crimp it on. It's 2 larger crimp connectors and 2 smaller crimp connectors. For the 2 different size wires, obviously. So in the black wires, you just want to match wire size. And why is that not focusing? Wow, okay. And of course, then match your 2 colored wires. So I'm gonna get all of this put together, crimped in, get the heat shrink tubing done, then we'll be back. Okay, so we got everything together. We got the new connector put on. Everything is wrapped back up nice and tight. The fuel pressure sensor and the supply to the engine all hooked up. Everything is secure. I'm going to go hook the battery back up and we'll fire it up. Okay guys, that's the video. I actually finished about 4 hours ago and I forgot to shoot this part. So I hope you liked it. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time under the shed. It's about 5 minutes later. Particularly this part of Virginia, you know that if you want a good stand of grass, put down a load of gravel and call it a driveway.